Let's turn this morning to John chapter 15, and we're going to start at verse 8. John chapter 15, and we'll read verse 8. And it said, "Herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit. So shall you be my disciples." When I read this verse, I can't help but think that this brings us right back to one of the most basic questions that any man can ever ask. What is my purpose? Now, if you take some psychology courses, you're going to find out that one of the big questions that every man asks is, why am I here? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? What is my place? Why was I created? I don't think that any one of us can be happy with the idea that we were just created to take up space on this earth. I don't think any one of us can be happy with the concept that we live our life and then we become worm food, and that's all there is to it. There is something within us that recognizes that there is a greater call, a greater need. There's something within us that knows that we have been created for a purpose. The purpose has been placed in us by our Creator, by our Maker, by God. And when we find our purpose, we are able to line up with that purpose and to start feeling that sense of fulfillment that people are looking for. Now, I know there's many people that will go through life without ever finding or recognizing their purpose for being here. They go through life searching. They feel a void. They know there's a void. And they keep searching for things to try and fill that void. Whether it be material possessions, whether it be other people, whether it be education and knowledge or power and under the world system, they'll spend their life trying to fill a void and not recognizing that the minute they get that void filled, the void is a different void that they filled. Their need is still inside, and it's still crying out, and it's still saying there has got to be more to this. So then what is our purpose as believers on this earth? Well, more than anything else, our purpose is to glorify God. Jesus said here, "Herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit." Well, one of the basic tenets of the Christian faith is that we are here to worship God. We are here to bring glory to the Father. Life is a journey. If we never find out, or if we lose our purpose, we lose our sense of direction. We'll start wandering around aimlessly, not sure anymore what's supposed to happen. When you have a purpose, it can help determine the actions that you make and the decisions that you take. When you have a purpose and somebody comes along and offers you something, you go, well, that's not part of my purpose. It's not the way that I'm going. Why would I waste energy in that area? See, if somebody would come along to me right now and say, "You know, Ben, I've got this really great business deal for you. We've got this deal, and if we, if we just invest a little bit of money and a little bit of time, then we can start up a pub. And you're going to be rich in no time because people are going to come and it's going to support this, and we've got all the figures here." Well, that's not a part of my purpose. That's outside of my purpose. Why would I even spend time worrying about it? But if I don't know my purpose, then what happens? I go, "Oh, that's great. I can make money. I can be rich." Oh, and all of a sudden my purpose has changed, and I start chasing on something, and I go along that path for a certain amount of time, and I find out I'm not being fulfilled here. What is our purpose? Our purpose is to glorify God. First and foremost, to accept the Father's mission, to accept the Father's purpose, and to bring glory and honor to the Father. Now that purpose is large enough that when I follow that purpose, I'm allowed to go through most things in life and still end up bringing glory to God. But when I begin to wander aimlessly, I've lost my sense of purpose, I've lost my sense of vision. And you'll see this many times with people, and they'll end up giving years to a certain pursuit of a certain purpose. So there's people that I know that have spent 12 years going to school to end up becoming a doctor of whatever degree. And they come up, finally finish 12 years of school, and they spend 2 years working at it, and they go, "I'm not happy. I'm not happy here. I've got to find what I want to do." And they'll go back to school, and they'll go start somewhere else. And they'll spend an X amount of time, however many years, trying to chase after that dream. And they keep giving themselves and giving themselves, and they go, I'm not happy. There's got to be a purpose. There's got to be something more. What's happened is they've lost their sense of purpose, and now they're just wandering aimlessly. They're going from attraction to attraction, trying to find something that will give them the sense of fulfillment. But the sense of fulfillment only comes when they start handing their lives over to God and say, God, you take charge, you lead me, you guide me, you live through me, and then I'm going to find my sense of fulfillment. See, whether I'm a janitor, whether I'm the pastor, if my sense of purpose is to glorify God, it doesn't matter which one I'm doing.
That's right.
If I have to live in a house of 30,000 square feet, if I would have to, if I would have to serve the Lord in Hawaii, I could do it. If I know my sense of purpose. But then I could also live in a house of 500 square feet. I could also live in a house in Antarctica if that's where God called me. Because my purpose is to glorify God. It's to say, let your will be done, not my will. So life is a journey. When we lose our purpose or never find our purpose, we will lose our sense of direction. I believe half of what we see, half the problems we see in the world today are because people have lost their sense of purpose. What is one of the first things they do when they've lost their sense of purpose? Let's go find something to fill the hole. Most people want to fill the problem, and they want to start looking to other people. Well, if I can find the right wife, if I can find the right husband, a husband, then they have to be the right one, just a husband, then I'll have met my purpose. Except 2 years down the road, they're going, this doesn't meet my needs anymore. This man that I've married doesn't do what I need to do. This woman that I've married isn't enough to fill. I still have this longing. So maybe I need another wife. And we'll trade the old model in for a newer model. And all of a sudden, oh yeah, now I'm happy. This is all I needed. Except 5 years down the road, this model doesn't fit anymore either. So we've taken the education, we've taken the marriage route, we've taken the business careers, we've taken, and we end up finding nothing. I read the other day a report on how many people nowadays are retiring early so they can just kick out of life and sit back, and they have their little couple of acres somewhere in the background, and they can just live there by themselves, and they feel more fulfilled than when they are holding all these high position jobs. What is our purpose? Our purpose is to glorify God. Our purpose is to bring honor to His name. So once we have pursued all of the activities which we think are going to fulfill them, we'll discover that that same emptiness is at the end of every pursuit. That same piece is still lacking. For the moment we thought, okay, we had fulfillment, but then we find out we don't. So today I want to look at some of the truths concerning how we can fulfill our purpose of glorifying God. Because the Bible has quite a bit to speak about it. And how are we going to fulfill our purpose of glorifying God? The first scripture I want to turn to then is Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3. And I'm going to read verses 23 and 24. And whatsoever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord you shall receive the reward of your inheritance. For you serve the Lord Christ. So first and foremost then, if we are going to fulfill our purpose, I believe we have to glorify God by doing what we are called to do. We have to glorify God by doing whatever we are doing heartily as unto the Lord and not unto men. Why are so many people unhappy with their place of employment? Because they're busy trying to get the boss, they're trying to get that job or that workplace to meet their needs. When that happens, they find out this job doesn't meet my needs. But when we fulfill our job or do our job as unto the Lord, then we find out that regardless of what I'm doing, I can be fully fulfilled doing this. I have never yet, well I shouldn't say never yet, I had one job in my life that I have never liked. Now I have had a fair number of jobs in my life and I have enjoyed most of them. When I first left home, well before I even left home, I started working